So the session is being recorded of hidden gems in OpenBridge design. So I will start again with a blank screen on that, right? So I will just attach as a reference the minimum stuff that I need. That is the terrain and the ground, right? So I will attach very quick the terrain and the ground. By the way, the data set that I'm using, it's attached on the invitation. It's even on the YouTube page, in the thank you note that I'm going to send you to all the attendees of this webinar. I'm going to send you the link when I post this recording in YouTube and the link of the data set if you don't already have it. It's the same data set that we've been using in previous sessions as well as in our training class, right? It comes the data set and actually the PDF document. But this is not on the PDF document because, again, this is something that we don't normally do on our training class. So just let me go to this big view here and then basically set up my project, right? Just like that. And then as well, I am going to change the annotation scale. So I will just go annotation and change the annotation scale to a little bit different here. And 40 will do it, I think, right? So just like, right? So my bridge is going to be somewhere here, right? So let's explain one of the kind of hidden features that we have, right? So usually you start, as I said, adding a bridge, right? So when you add a bridge, I ask you for software starts, right? To add a bridge to select the alignment, right? This is how we start, right? And then you can select any alignment on your screen, right? But the explanation comes is, what is it for then, right? So that's what it comes. What is this for? And what is this unit business that you're talking about, right? First, this required roadway alignment and required roadway alignment for a station, I would say maybe is, I would say, at least for me, 99% of the cases, we do not use it, right? Why? Because usually the bridge alignment, that is actually the software asking me to select, right, is the same as the center line of the bridge, right? So there's that. So selecting the bridge alignment, it will cover that. But then what would happen if this is not the case, right? So, well, Alex, what do you mean by that? Well, what would happen then if that, for example, let me just draw something very quick here, that you have or you are required to report something like that, that you may have a bridge here, right? And then you may have another bridge here, kind of a parallel bridge, right? In which the roadway alignment is here, but then each bridge will have its own alignment, right? And to make matters a little bit more complicated, if you want, maybe this bridge is not like that, right? So delete this. What about if this bridge, northbound, southbound, is not even parallel to that alignment, but you have something like that, that your bridge is, let me do it, like grossly skewed like that, right? So you will have then the roadway alignment and the southbound and the northbound alignment on the bridge completely different. So then when you go into OpenBridge Modeler and then you say add bridge, what is the bridge alignment? I have 3 alignments here, right? So, well, the bridge alignment for the northbound, I will say, will be this one, right? Oh, that's okay. But then on top of that, when I report the station offset, I report the beginning bridge and all of that, I don't report on this alignment. I report on the roadway center line. Right? So, but then it's tougher on the geometry calculations. But we make it easier for you saying, yes, this is the bridge alignment, but at the same time, this is the roadway alignment that you need to select. And this roadway alignment will be this one. So we report on a different alignment than the bridge alignment, put it that way. Right? Do we normally do that? Maybe not. As I said, at least on my cases, the bridges I've done, I don't come up with this, but sometimes it's required. Right? The easiest way will be, well, this is the northbound or eastbound alignment. This is the westbound bridge. Done. Right? Two different bridges, two separate alignments, completely independent of each other. Fine. Here, in this case, that are activated is not. Okay, careful with that. Right? And as Steve was saying, right, these work well for straight bridges on curve alignments too. Right? So be careful with that as well, right? So, and then for the stationing too. If by mistake you activate it on the same alignment, well, you can run into certain issues there that are not that good. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I don't use this that much. Okay, so this will be the normal setup. Right, and then, well, just please keep posting your questions there. Right, and my colleague Steve was joining us from Stump Steve, and then you can stump him on the chat, right? All right, so that's one of the explanations. So let me delete this so I don't clutter the screen. Now, what is this other business of units or multi-units? Right? So usually when we, one more time, we go to add bridge right here, right? We say, well, just put the description, select the type of bridge, and then just select the alignment, right? Just like that. And then you keep going. And nobody pays attention of this unit stuff or unit one. Everybody assumes it's unit one. So what is that? Okay, so now challenge for you guys, right? In a very long bridge, sometimes we have a changing material. Think of that, a changing material, right? Because of the long span, sometimes we need to switch from concrete to steel. So if you think about it, right? If I have, let's see, maybe I have from here to here, a small span of concrete, right? And then from here to here, I said, oh, this is a longer span, so I need to make it of steel. And then here, I go another short span, so concrete is good, right? So, question for you. How many bridges do I have? One, two, or three bridges? Right? So, yes, the answer is I have one bridge, right? I have one bridge with 3 units. This is the entire bridge with unit 1 of concrete, unit 2 of steel, and unit 3 of concrete again. Right? Got it? So this is what this concept of units come into play. that mostly what we teach is when you add the bridge, right? We say unit 1, and we make it of concrete. But at the end, it's the same bridge. So how you work into this units business, right? If we want to create that same concrete, steel, concrete, right? So this is the way it works. So when you add the bridge, I will say name bridge, I'm going to call it long bridge, right? And it's going to be of unit 1, made of concrete, right? So that's it, right? So I think I selected the alignment already. And then I work my business through it, right? So I can do place, multi-support. Oh, I need to select the alignment, sorry. So select the alignment for the bridge. Done, right? So then I will say, okay, select multi-supports, right? And then say, oh, it's going to be just 2 supports because it's going to be 1 span of concrete, right? 2 supports, right? At this, just to mimic the behavior, at this station, and I'm going to end it with 0 skew, just to show you that, right? And this will be the unit of concrete, right? And then station, fine, right? Accepted. That is made of concrete, right? That's it. And then I just do the normal stuff, right? I'm going to place the deck, just very quick, the standard deck, no constraints or anything, just to show you the concept, right? The standard deck, like that. Place the deck, right? Select the second boundary, come on. No constraints, so just very standard there, right? And then I'm just going to place, again, one more time, very quick, a beam layout to finish my concrete unit of long bridge, right? So let's go 5 beams, 3, apply, 6 inches separation, right? And all good, save, right? So, and then place a beam. And then on purpose, I'm going to place a very large beam so you can see what the software does as well, right? Just to illustrate that concept. So it's beam right there, and punch. Let's go 2 inches here, 2 inches here, right? Really. Then, as I said, on purpose, I'm going to place a very large beam. I mean, it doesn't warrant that span, but then on purpose, as I said, a huge, right? So, so now I got a very large beam into that project, right? So you can see now I just have done. This is enough to illustrate, right? So I got my beams ready to go. But then, as I said, I just have that span. But then there is also a longer span here that is, I'm going to make it to steel. So if I go to my Explorer right here, I have my bridge, the long bridge of unit 1 made of concrete with all its properties, right? Good. But then now, on that same long bridge, I want to add that steel one. So then I don't add bridge anymore. Remember, I have only one bridge, the long bridge. So I said add unit. And that unit 2, you can change the name to, is not made of concrete, it's made of steel. And the location is going to be at the end of the previous bridge. Not at the beginning. Now they will be here, right? I want to continue, so accept it. And then I need to add a support line for that bridge. But remember, I'm using that same support, so I need to add only one support line, not a multi one. Well, multi will be one, right? So it's going to be parallel of the previous one, and the span is going to be up to here, just to mark this point. Right? So I'm sharing a support line between the concrete girders and what's going to be steel one. You see how it changes? Look, now I have the option to place steel stuff. Right? So I'm going to use the same slab and all of that, right? Again, one more time to illustrate that I can do. Right? And I got my deck. Now I'm going to do the beam layout. Right? Same thing, right? Like doing a bridge, but then this is going to be a continuous beam made of steel, right? And then it's going to be another even different. I did 5 before, I'm going to do 4, just to, again, illustrate the concept of what the software is going to do. And save. So I will have my kind of off 2, right? And I'm going to place the beam. And on purpose, I'm going to place a very short beam, right? So beam layout, and it's going to be a roll shape, but as I said, on purpose, I'm going to place a very small one, right? So let's do this one in comparison, of course, with the other, right? So apply to all beams. And now I have a very small roll shape in comparison to that 96. Right? So let's look how it looks in 3D. See the difference? Right? So just like that. Right? Same deck, right? Following the same profile, but it's a very huge difference between the beams. Right? So let's keep going. So then the last unit, one more time, I do the same process. The last unit, I will add another unit, but this unit is going to be going back to the concrete one, right? It's going to be attached to the end of the previous bridge, or the previous unit, I'm sorry. That's it. And then the support, since it's just one more, I'm going to go parallel to the previous, right? And then I just finish my steel beam, and then the same, right? Place deck from here to here, right? Place deck, place the beam layout. It could be the same, it could be different, right? Place beams, more beams. So let's do 6 beams different, so you can see one more time what the software is going to do. Right, and then 6 in separation, right? And that's it, right? So save. And then, right, and then it's concrete. You see how this appears because now I'm doing a concrete one, right? And this one, I'm going to do it as well of a complete different size, right? So 102, 102, and then let's make it kind of a shallower one, right? That's it. Apply to all beams. So now I have complete 3 different sets and objects, right? And then if I go to 3D, it's well, closer, but not as close, right? Anyway, now the question is right now is now where? What bridge? I want to work on this one. I'm going to modify something, or I'm going to modify the steel. So, well, another hidden gem is that you can use the Explorer for that, and then identify in Explorer which one is the actual active unit. The one in green is the bridge, right? It's the active bridge, but if you want to do modifications, now you have 3 units. And the active one, well, is the last one that I've been working with. No, I want to work on the first unit, on the first concrete span or multi-span. I want to work on that. And then right click, set active. Done. So right now, this is the one that I can start working with. Right? If I need to work on steel, modify something, well, I gotta go here and right click, active that unit. Okay, so this is how the Explorer can help you realize in what bridge you are working on. Right? Now, saying that, I'm working what? Oh, on the concrete one, right? So let's very quick add an abutment. No much science to it. You know how to do it, right? Pick a template and just do it. So that. But what about the pier here? That pier, it's shared between a steel bridge and a concrete one, right? So let's place a pier. Maybe a standard pier will do it, right? To illustrate the concept one more time, a multi-column pier. And no, I'm not gonna do a hammerhead. Let's do a multi-column here, right? The standard multi-column pier. Like that. No elevation constraints, right? Again, it's not important. I just want to show you what happened here. Select the support. That support belongs to the first unit and is shared between the steel unit. Doesn't matter. Select it. Right click. Accept. Right? So it's placed based on reference. Place and look. Right? So let me switch to transparent view so you will see better what's happening there. Right? So well, I have everything hanging there. As I said, that's what I did on purpose, right? So, but then the beauty of this is that the software recognizes that this is shared between the concrete and steel. So when you place a bearing and set up the dimensions to this, right? You can just say, okay, place bearing and look. You see how it recognizes the steel part too? Automatically, you don't need to tell it I'm working there. It recognizes that this pier is supported by both. You place the dimensions there and then just accept it. And it will accommodate the bearing seats for both units. Right? Now, maybe that's what I said. I did it on purpose. Okay, don't chastise me on that because that is a humongous bearing seat. Right? But the software adjusts for this automatically for you. Right? So this kind of extreme case, I know, but again, to illustrate the concept, it's good enough on that. And this will be here. Now, if I do it on the other one, well, it will be less drastic, but it will do the same. However, this support is for the steel unit. So then I need to go back to my Explorer here, right? And say, okay, on the Explorer, I need to work on unit 2, right click, make it active. And then I'm able to place the pier on that support, becomes highlighted, accepted, right? And on that support, I'm able to place bearings too. But then it recognizes, as you can see, the steel one too, the concrete one, right? And it's done, right? So then if you rotate the view, you will see that the bearing seats are less drastic, right? So this is the concept of units. So you can trade these as, and then you place the abutments at the end. right? So the abutments, oh, but the abutments is going to be for this concrete one. So I need to right click on my unit concrete here, set it active. So now the concrete one is active. And then I can place the abutment for the last unit. And then now I have three bridges, no, excuse me, three units, right? And then it's smart enough to report the quantities for concrete and steel, right? So the active bridge, long bridge, and per unit, the active unit. So I'm going to report only on the last concrete. No, I want to report on my entire project. And then you have everything, right? Concrete, steel, everything will be calculated for you there, right? So, or you can just switch to that, right? Now, there's a good question that I was ready to go, right? So can we export each unit individually to the analysis and design software like Leap? How does the load get transferred at a common bend? And can the bend design be performed with the load imported from the OBM? And a very loaded question, Hazim. Right. Well, right now, if you export to Leap, you will export this unit, right? And then we can do it, right? But I better rather show you to you. So the challenge here is that this pier belongs to the steel one, right? So as it is, we will see what's going to transfer. Right? Remember, you're running two different softwares, right? One will be running Leap concrete, the other one will be running Leap steel for the steel bridge, right? So I would say, sadly, the transfer, it doesn't recognize that. So you will see, it doesn't have the entire thing. It has it, but it will lack the transferring of the loads because you're lacking the transfer on the steel loads here. It doesn't do that, right? Because now you are separating softwares, concrete and steel. What you need to do is to, when you design in one, export the loads and load it here manually, I would say. Right? So, because again, there are three different types of structures, the three different types of code checks. Right? That's one way to do it. Now, on the next release of OpenBridge Designer, that is coming as well, very soon as well, right? The ability will be, if you really want to share all these loads and all these live loads too, because imagine what would happen if your truck, right, the live load that you're running is running in between the concrete and steel, right? It could happen too, right? So then you need to analyze this whole concrete, steel, concrete as a whole. And the only one that can do it is OpenBridge. So you want to be sharing that and analyzing this for maybe seismic events and all of this. You need to analyze the whole unit. So in the next version of OpenBridge Designer, RM will be able to receive a multi-unit, multi-material bridge. And then you will have all this in one shot and analyze it as a single unit. Okay. So, and then, well, you can either in Leap or OBM, you can analyze the bends and the piers with both loads, right? So, because then OpenBridge will consider this as a single bridge, right? The whole thing is a single bridge with three different units. If you send it to Leap, basically Leap doesn't see the other bridge. Leap will see this entity as a single bridge, this other entity as another bridge, and this will be a completely separate bridge. So it will be kind of your job to connect them, right? Got it? So now coming to your question there as well, Warner is asking, how does the approach slab normally handle a bridge unit or a 3D element? Well, I would say don't do 3D elements, right? If you're going to do an approach slab, everybody has his own ways to do that. A unit will be cool, right? But really, do you need a unit for that, right? What you can do in this case, if I want to add an approach slab, is I am at the end, right? I am at the end right here. So let's add an approach slab. So to do this, I can create a bridge, I can create a new unit, right? But tell you the truth, you don't need to do that. It can be done, don't get me wrong. But what you can do is actually easier. You can say, add, for example, another support line, parallel in this case, right? The width of my approach slab, whatever it is, right? And here, as part of the bridge, place a deck. I just place a deck, yes, right? The big difference is when you place the deck, this is off, analytical deck. Because if you do that, it's off. It will not consider that. It will not transfer that. So you will just create another deck that you can adjust the thicknesses and all of these, and you're done. You have an approach slab. It's like another deck, maybe with a different thickness. Okay. So the tricky part, I would say, is right here, because depending on how you consider here, right, for example, on the approach slab right here, right, the approach slab goes right on top of the abutment. And you said, no, I need to lower the back wall a little bit so my approach slab sits on top of that, right? So what you need to do then is go to the abutment itself, and on the abutment itself, even though you activate it, conform all the way to the back wall, right? So the back wall is going up to the main deck. You say, you know what? Lower this. No, let me have 6 inches. Well, let's do a foot so you will see, right? So automatically will go down a foot, right? And then your approach slab will see. So you need to put there a dimension that basically matches the thickness of the approach slab, right? I just showing you here kind of grossly to see how it's being lowered. You see? So you match it to the top and then go down 8 inches. I did here 2 feet, right? So you can see what you can do. So this is one way to handle approach slab. Other people just go a 3D element. Oh, fine, right? So, but then here, for me, that's the one I use. Kind of simpler too. You can do units and all of that, but tell you the truth, there is no much need to do that unless you want to do something fancier with the approach slabs. And then with the decks, I remember also the approach slab has certain dappet ends. You can do that with the control thickness in the constraints of the template itself, right? So this is what you can do on that, right? So you have now a multi-unit bridge with approach slab, and then here at the end, at the beginning, what you need to do is cornered as well, activate that part right here, and create another approach slab. Okay, so that will take care of that. Now, if you want to do this a little bit more automatic, but what you have seen here, it's the units done kind of in a manual way, right? You can also do this at multi-units all in one shot, right? Because you can just go here, right? And say, I want to create a multi-unit bridge just from the get-go, right? And say, well, this is going to be a quick multi-unit, right? That's the name of a bridge, right? And then you select the bridge alignment right here, just like that, and start at that stage, right? That's the name I want to use. But then now you can do what I did here. You can do it kind of in a table. And you can say, okay, this is going to be the first bridge, slab bridge, length of the support line, and the spans is going to be 1 of 80 and 2 of 80 on the concrete part. And then I'm going to add another unit, and it's going to be 160 feet, but made of steel. Right? And then I want another unit made of concrete, and it's going to be 80 and 80, for example. And then that's it. So it will set up your units basically immediately. That's what it's going to do. Right? So you don't need to worry about adding or ending. And then now in your bridge model, you will have that bridge with all the units, and you start placing the supports and all of that. So it just give you the setup ready to go. So, and then, well, the next step, as I did it before. Got it? And then now this becomes your active bridge, right? So then here, I want to come back to my bridge, and then you can also set the active one. So the active one will be still my long bridge. Okay. So this is stuff that you can do as well. Right? Now, you know how we design Tulip, how we send it to Tulip as well, right? I show you also how to work with the Explorer here, right? And also in the Explorer, right? We always tell you as well that you can go here and change certain definitions, right? Let me come back to this unit that has more options, right? Certain definitions here, right? That we have the deck, the support lines, and oh, it's not the bigger. Sorry, this is the long bridge. Set the active one, right? And then I come back to the first deck here, right? And you know that, for example, on the supports, I can just right click and get some properties to it, right? So then do these properties, right? But also on this on these supports, I can select both of them like that. Control select both of them, and then access the properties in general, not the bridge properties, but the properties in general right here. Right? So I get access to the microstation properties, and in bulk, I can also edit the properties that, well, the software allows me to change. Right? For example, horizontal offset. So I selected the two of them. If not, I got to do it one by one. But then here with Explorer, I can select both of them. I said, you know, the offset is going to be 5 feet to the right. To which one? To all of them. So my piers and all of that, you see? So if I have a multi-column pier, 5, 6 piers, I can select all of them and then just go and say, change it. So it's 0. Right? So Explorer will allow you to do this. Right? And then with Explorer, I don't know if you know, but sometimes I don't want to see the deck. So what level is the deck? And some states, DOTs, they say, no, my deck and my beams are the same level. So you cannot turn off without the other. Well, the features will allow you to say off, off. So then, regardless of the level, I only see what I wanted to see. Right? So even on the beam groups that I have, it could be that maybe I don't want to see these two beams. Because maybe I'm doing construction stages. That's it. Right? No, I want to see that. And then deactivate the whole beam completely. So it doesn't matter the levels. You can play with the Explorer and use these tools as well. Right? Oh, another question on the steel bridge, right? Hazim, is there any easier way to create dappled end steel beams than defining all the transition points? What do you mean the dappled ends? It means what? Right, the hunching effect, right? So the only way to do it is just go into the beam layout and then just type it in the dialog box, right? So I think what you're talking about, if I go to, I mean here, no, but then if I go to the steel unit and activate that, right? Right, to edit this, it will be into the beam definition. I'm going to, right? So what you're talking about is to select the beam right here on the beam layout definition. Well, this is a roll shape, but then when a build up shape, right, is if you switch to a build up shape right here, right, the only way is to define the transition points yourself here, right? Now, sometimes it will be a little bit difficult, but then also for triangle error, you say, oh, this doesn't work, and then you need to delete the options, right? I would recommend maybe if you're going to be doing a lot of trials and try different dimensions, you can copy, cut, and paste and put it on Excel. So you want to try a different configuration, you can bring it in and paste it from Excel and keep trying different alternatives. That's the only one that I know, right? So, oh, top of the hour almost. So any last questions? This is all what I have for you. Again, if in next sessions, we are going to be covering one presentation that is coming for our colleague and good friend. I just want to show you what is coming for the next couple of weeks. We're going to see a practical project from our own Steve Tizier, right? So he's going to just show you a project that he did in which he optimized the layout and the span optimization with the concept of units, right? So now you will better understand what he's going to do, right? So this is coming on July 29, right? So this is that, right? I also suggest you to go to our YouTube page because today you can get a sneak peek of what is coming on the next release that I told you is going to be pretty soon. So if you go to our OpenBridge channel page that I ask you to subscribe, show it to you, right? So this is our page, right? So in this page, I will recommend you to go to the playlists, right? And there is one playlist in which we have the As Alice session, or the previous one, but then today it became live what's going to be on the next OpenBridge Modeler release, right? The release is not out yet. As I said, it's going to be pretty soon, but we put it live in YouTube now to give you a peek over, right? So we're going to do variable columns. We're going to do steel cross frames for tubs and all of that. So you can get a sneak peek of that. There's short videos. And then also on our As Alice sessions and coffee corner meetings, formerly known as SIX, we're going to be covering these in greater detail. And again, if you got any other topics that you want us to cover, Steve and I, we will be very happy to do that for you. Right?
Alex.
Yes.
Very quick.
Ahead, Steve. Yep.
The new OBM
no kidding.
is available today. It's posted and available on software downloads. OBD should be there soon.
All right, so that's it. So what now it's live. I mean, I time it perfectly. So yeah, it's going to be version 10.10, right? And it's version 10.10.00.85. That was the latest build, I think. So just look for it. Yep, 10.10 OpenBridge Modeler. Look to the YouTube channel, and then you will see the major features that we have released. There are like 5 or 6, plus a lot of additional enhancements that we have done. Steve is posting the link in the software downloads, right? Yep, Brooke, yeah, we're going to be covering this, and then to do this with generative components, this is also coming as well. So other than that, guys, let me thank you so much for attending, and well, subscribe to the open channel, subscribe to this Ask Alex series if you want to receive future invitations, and send us by email. That my email is listed on the screen too, to see what topics you want us to cover, right? So we cover already the bridge from beginning to end and some hidden features. So you want to think something more, let us know. We'll be working with supervision. We're going to be very happy to do that for you, right? Other than that, thank you so much, and see you on the next session of Ask Alex. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.